Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Myself, Terry Flewers, and Jessica Black are here for the next hour or so in the build-up to a very big Champions League night indeed. There's lots to digest and go through. We're going to take some calls later on in the show as well. Big headline story we're starting with tonight. Mark GoldbrIdge, one of the most legendary football content creators in the world, had a big clash in the last 24 hours with Gary Neville, all about the lack of criticism of Gunnar Solskjaer. We want to get your take, your views and opinions on that. We're looking ahead of tonight's Champions League games. Could this be one of the final nails in the coffin for Ollie, the last chance for him? And a few bits of fun to have on the show tonight as well. Conte supposedly ready for the Man United job, having turned down the chance to talk to Newcastle. And a few Twitter space debate I've seen today, or Jess has seen today, pointed out a little bit of Carrick versus Busquets. I'm also going to talk about Chelsea's defense versus Liverpool's attack tonight. You know you've got to smash that like button for us. Really important you will do that now. Give that a smash. Subscribe to the channel. But of course, joined by Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. What is Champions League? I just feel so out of the loop, you know? You guys are lucky. You guys are still playing in the Champions League. We're not even in Europa, so I am feeling a little bit down about that. But I mean, I'm good. The games yesterday were really exciting, especially the Liverpool Atletico game.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying football outside of Arsenal football. So I'm good. I can't complain.
And that's always good to do. I totally get you on that. I'm not enjoying football at the minute. As soon as I do, I enjoyed last night, I agree. And then I get this sort of sobering thought very, very quickly that is just, you've got to play next. You've got to play tomorrow night. And it could be embarrassing and it's very, very sobering. And we will start there. We'll start there with, I want to go into this straight away because I want to talk about Mark GoldbrIdge to start with. I thought what he said to Gary Neville, what he called him out on, was absolutely beyond spot on. We've got a series of the tweets we just put up on the screen here, but essentially, Gary Neville was called out by John Cross for being a little too biased and protecting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Gary Neville went on to essentially say that he will never call for somebody to lose their job, irrespective of whether he's a pundit or not. Being a pundit doesn't mean he's going to call for anyone to lose their job, and he certainly isn't going to do it to a friend. This led to Mark GoldbrIdge basically saying, well, we can ignore your opinions then because you've admitted your bias. You're not going to give us your true thoughts because you're going to protect a friend. Gary Neville has then gone back saying, yes, please ignore me, as if to say, Gary, my interpretation was, who are you to call me out? I don't want you to interact with me anyway. And GoldbrIdge sort of saw that as a moral victory. And I agree with Mark GoldbrIdge. I think he was absolutely spot on. And this isn't and it is a clash and it isn't some weird kind of YouTube beef, but I think he's spot on for calling him out because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not doing a good enough job. You don't have to berate someone, slag them off, belittle them as a person to say, I think they've taken the club as far as they can. And I know Gary Neville's got this kind of moral standing that he won't ask for anybody to lose their job. But there are more than one way to skin a cat. If you're saying that someone isn't doing a good enough job, if you're saying that somebody has lost a dressing room, whatever it may be, whatever your kind of thought is, you're always saying they should lose their job. You don't have to stand on his platform and say, go and sack Ollie tomorrow. I understand that. But I thought Mark GoldbrIdge was very brave and correct and right in calling Neville out. And I think it's the right thing to do because when you pay the prices we pay to watch Sky TV, you want complete honesty from these pundits. You want complete transparency in their views, not this kind of watered down, well, I'm not going to say it because Ollie's my mate. For me, GoldbrIdge is bang on.
Yeah, I think I kind of sit in that same kind of group where I'm kind of like, well, then it illegitimizes most of the things that you say because now you can't be trusted because based on your relationships, you will maybe say or not say certain things. And you're right. Like you don't actually have to say, I want him sacked to kind of talk about the fact that he's not doing a great job. And I don't think only sitting there like, okay, well, if Gary says this about me, our relationship is over and all of this kind of stuff. I don't really get that. But yeah, just kind of, but I think we kind of all know this, that like pundits and journalists and people that are kind of like reporting on football tend to change their narrative or speak on certain things or hold back or whatever based on who they're connected with, because they want to keep those connections alive. There are a lot of Arsenal journalists that have relationships like that. So you have to take what they say with a grain of salt. But at the same time, like, the job of a pundit slash journalist is to give us the real deal and like actually what they think. So Gary Neville kind of outing himself, it's not a good look, you know? So yeah, I think it's an interesting one. We all kind of know what happens, but for him to just out himself like that was kind of like, wow, like you actually
Yeah,
just let people know that like I'm not going to say anything bad about Ollie.
and I respect his honesty, but at the same time, I will switch off from listening to his opinions on anything related to Man United and Ollie because we know we're not getting the full truth. One of the reasons
Right.
that social media has become so popular, the reason that everything from YouTubers to Spaces, Instagrammers, TikTokers is popular is because you get a rawness to it. You get and one of my fears for some of the YouTube channels is that they're going to end up going too corporate. They're going to end up becoming too safe. They're going to end up I mean, we've had the feedback ourselves in recent weeks of stop allowing everyday fans to have opinions on your channel, Terry. It will damage your brand. I'm like, motherfucker, that is my brand. Like, my brand is to let real football fans have what they've got to say. And I think that Sky and that have got to look at that. And I'm not having a pop at Gary Neville per se, because I like Gary Neville. I think he's been an excellent pundit. He's a legend of my football club. But he's bang out of order to the general public in this. And as I say, GoldbrIdge was spot on for calling him out. He was correct for saying it. And you know, in that instance, it's what we want. And there's always going to be a bias, but to a degree, your opinion is always biased because it's what you believe. But and look, journalists, by the way, John Cross calling him out. I no time for that. Journalists are the worst at this day and age. I honestly believe that journalists spin to us now. 80% of them will spin whatever the clubs want to hear, so they can get their exclusive interviews. They can get some transfer news early and all of that. I don't trust the objectivity of any of them anymore. I'm at that point, if I'm being honest. It's just becoming nauseating, especially people that are closely connected to one club. It never really rings true, but fans want the
That's why
truth.
it's That's why it's better to listen to fans, I feel like, because there's no real reason. I mean, we do have our biases as fans, but at the same time, I think we're more free to give our, you know, speak our truth. And so when you're being paid to do something, inevitably you will be tainted by like trying to get your career in a certain direction and all those types of things. So I think that's why it's good to have fans on your show, because they have nothing to really gain. You know, some of them have agendas and all that kind of stuff, but really you could get a true temperature on how people feel about the club and certain people in it versus pundits and journalists. I tend not to listen to a lot of them, take everything with a grain of salt, because there's always something attached to it most of the time. So yeah, I think you're spot on by just, you know, using fans, because it's just different.
Yeah,
You know, not everybody has to be a pundit, you know?
no, and Neek says here that it's not just, but it's just normal human behavior, I think. And I totally understand that. And I respect Gary now more for admitting that's what he's doing. So I respect the
Yeah.
element. I don't look at it as outing himself. I look at it as he's being honest. But maybe he should have said that in the beginning. Like, I'm not going to give opinions on Ollie because he's my friend. I'm not going to do it. That's a fair cop, you know. And I know a few YouTubers have become friendly with particular footballers, and they're quite open, saying like, yeah, if it's a conversation about that person, I don't want to be involved. And that makes perfect sense. You're putting that out there from the beginning. But when you're sitting there and you're blaming everybody else for the problems at the football club, but you're not mentioning the manager, it's just frustrating, I think, for people. But I do understand why he's not doing it. Like, legitimately, if I was on a stream and the stream was like criticizing something a YouTuber had done, and that YouTuber was Anita, KJ, you, Neeks, I wouldn't go in. I know I wouldn't. Morally, my loyalty to you as individual people is stronger than the collective morality of society, to a degree, depending on what you've done. Like, there's always
Yeah.
limits to that, but within generality, it's like, oh, did you see the way Neeks spoke to so and so on a stream? I'd be like, look, I know Neeks is a really good guy. Maybe had a bad day. I'll chat to him. I'm not going to slag him off on stream. You know, that
Mhm.
I do get the human element to it. There's a super chat. I want to go to some of the comments here, see what you're saying. Good day to you, Terry. Hope all is well. And Jess is looking really pretty
Thank
today.
you.
Keep up the good work. That is from JJ Bridge. Can't listen to any opinions from Gary Neville now. They have all become invalid.
That's the thing though. It's like then he has to be aware that people are going to just kind of shirk everything that he says from now on because they won't trust it. If he's okay with that and he's okay to get the backlash from it, then fair play to him. But you have to take everything that he says with a grain of salt. And I do think he says a lot of really good things, but now you can't really listen to him in terms of Man United, can you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Josh here, one of our members all the way from NYC, says GoldbrIdge and the TFT demonstrating why we love fan channels in real time. We want the truth, not the pundit bureaucracy of corporations. Listen, 110%. And I think that's why fan channels have become, the default for many, many people now. And the younger I spoke to Sky Sports directly at the Football Content Awards. They got booed, by the way, when they got up on stage and got their award. They got really badly booed. But they were like, they said in their speech, and I was talking to them afterwards, and they said, yeah, look, we're having to up our game because you guys were overtaking us. And it's why they've bought a lot of, there's quite a few content creators whose channels look like they're independent, but they're owned by Sky, because that's what's happening. But there we go. We want your take on that. Obviously, a big night for Man United tonight. A very big night for Man United tonight against Atalanta. We're going to take a look now ahead. We're going to talk Conte a little bit later, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to speak about some of the things going on social media today as well. I want to talk Chelsea's attack and Liverpool's defense. Well, that was one of Jesse's topics for today we'll delve into. But Champions League tonight. I mean, Chelsea have got a fairly simplistic game against Malmo. I don't think that needs too much of a
look into.
About. Yeah, I don't necessarily. I think they're going to slap them, if I'm being honest. I think Chelsea are going to slap them today. I think they will. But in terms of Man United, how do you see this game going legit?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like, to be honest, the Italian league is probably the one league I watch the least. I just don't like it that much. But when I was trying to look into Atalanta a little bit, I mean, they have some good players. They're not that high up in the table. I think they're just right above Juventus, maybe, who's doing terribly. But they have some decent players. They usually play in a 3-back, that kind of thing. So they'll condense space and, they may sit back a little bit. I don't know. But I think this is the type of game that Man United has to kind of get everything right from the very beginning and not spiral. I think it's one of those types of games you get an early goal and then you try to get that second one right away and just really put Atalanta out of the game, because I don't think they're the type of team that's just going to sit back and if they get one goal scored on them, they're going to kind of give up. And I think if you guys have a shaky 1-0 lead, you may give it up. So I do think from the lineup to the game plan to the inevitable substitutions that will come later on in the game, Ollie has to get all of that right, because you're just kind of like in that shaky, period. But I would expect you guys to be the better team on paper. But again, we've seen that doesn't really mean anything when the equalizer is your manager. He really equalizes the game and makes your quality not stand out as much because of the decisions that he makes. So he has to get everything spot on. And then hopefully the team kind of, finishes the job. But it doesn't look like it's going to be an easy game, but I would still expect you guys to win this one. Ollie has to win at least one of these. He has to.
Do you know what it is for me? He does need to win one of these. He needs to win one of these to save his job. You can't get away from that. He has to. I would like to win tonight to build a little bit of momentum ahead of the big game against Liverpool. Liverpool's defense we'll touch on a little bit more later. 8 goals conceded in 4 games. You can penetrate them. The problem is this Man United team is the most disjointed I feel that it's looked under Ollie at the moment. That's even more embarrassing because of the plethora of talent that we've got. And I really feel like it's in the mindset of these players. Atalanta play very nice, very open, very attacking football. And legitimately, I say this with full belief, we're going to get taken apart tonight. We are going to get caught on the counter attack 2 or 3 times in this game. We'll get taken apart 2 or 3 times. Why not? If teams, Premier League teams are not as good as Atalanta that are not Champions League quality, like Newcastle took us apart on the counter. Aston Villa took us apart. Aston Villa, for me, are not as good as Atalanta. They've taken us apart on the counter attack. Everton should have beaten us because of the counter attack. We will get beat tonight. And it's frustrating because we'll lose tonight. We'll lose against Liverpool. We may then sack Ollie, in my opinion. I think these are going to be his last 2 games. I really do believe that we're going to move him on after that. but it's just I just feel like it's a waste, and it's a waste because we
Hmm.
didn't need to get rid of him. We didn't need to give him these 2 games. We didn't need to give him the international break. We should have made this decision already. Even having an interim in for 3 or 4 games while we find a new manager, I think would have boosted
Yeah.
people. It's just I'm going to watch the game because I'm a United fan. It's my job to cover football, but
But
I
you're not
don't.
looking forward to it.
No, I'm not. I don't want to watch. It feels like I don't know if you've ever been in this situation. I did as a young man, where I was like, "Oh, bro, if you gotta go to that party, there's a guy there that's gonna have a fight with you." It's
No, I've
like
never had that situation.
growing up in the East End of London, it happened quite. It happened quite a bit. Be like, "Oh, there's a group there that got a beef with you." I always remember sometimes as lads, like, "Oh, we'll go anyway." I look back now as a man, a grown up, and I'm like, "Why did we do that?" You go there all nervous and whatever. I feel like I'm going to an event where I know that something bad's gonna happen. I feel it's
Oh
you
my
know what I mean? Stay
goodness.
away. I'd rather stay home and watch Coronation Street or EastEnders. It's Wednesday, so it's Coronation Street. Like, I don't want to watch it. I'm so honest to God. It's like, oh, it's horrible. Honestly,
Yeah,
honestly.
the frustration is always when the club waits 3 or 4 or 5 games too long to sack the manager. Like, I just feel like he should have been gone before. They gave him some time. Like, I think giving a new manager international break of 2 weeks to start implementing his ideas and maybe salvaging, because my biggest thing is how long are you going to allow him to make it impossible for you guys to progress in the Champions League? I can't see Cristiano Ronaldo and Varane in the Europa League. I can't freaking see it. I think that's a bad look, regardless if you sack Ollie or not. So I it's a weird one for me why he's getting
I
all of this time,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think they're just some clubs don't have the facilities to just they don't have the contingency plan to sack quickly and efficiently, and I think Man United and Arsenal both have those issues where managers will stay just a little bit too long. I mean, Ollie was an interim. He's still here. He did do a good job though in the beginning.
No, no. I totally agree. So I'm just trying to move my camera slightly. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think it's crazy. Earlier on in the week, there's all this talk about Ollie having a few more games left, and then all the newspapers put out the same generic. They fully back the manager, but they're unhappy with
Mhm.
results. They expect things to change. They're not talking to new managers as of now. Every newspaper, rinse, repeat. A lot of fans of rivals were like, "Yeah, Terry," but I showed all these newspaper articles where very similar things were being said. People are like, well, "Nah, Terry, like you don't have a Roman, you don't have managers that want to win. That they're not going to do this." And my view is
Mm.
like, I think you're off key here. I think you're off key because they care about the branding, they care about the income, they care about how things look, not about what we're going to win. And you're spot on about like you're spot on about a lot of things, but one thing you're most right about in that is Champions League Varane in the Europa, Cristiano Ronaldo in the Europa. It's such a bad look. It is unbelievable. It just looks awful. It looks out of place. It's
It can't
sacrilegious.
happen,
It's
Terry. It
sacrilegious.
literally
It's
can't
sacrilegious.
happen.
It can't, and that's what they've got to guard against. And if we losing to Atalanta tonight is a bigger blow for Man United than getting beat by Liverpool in the league top
Exactly.
top four is their target,
Mhm.
and we're still in the top four race even if we lose to Liverpool this weekend if a new manager comes in. Going out of the Champions League and not getting our players into the knockout stages is atrocious. It's going to cost 30 odd million pounds in revenue straight away. Sponsorship deals that the club will be working on right now will fall out of bed because there'll then be this case of you guys might not even make the Champions League next year. You're out of the knockout stages. Let's talk again in the summer. And that's why they'll make this decision to get rid of him. The painful bit for me is I don't want to lose these games. As much as I want Ollie gone, I actually have tried to do something for the first time in my life. I've tried to convince myself that I want my team to lose. I can't lie to myself. I want to win tonight. I want to win well. I want to beat Liverpool on Sunday, and I want to win well. And I know that means that Ollie will stay. But that's why my biggest issue is with my football club. Do you know why? Because one swift does not a summer make. And Ollie could win these next 2 games and be brilliant. But we all know
Mhm.
in the long term, the performances will not be good enough to sustain performances that can yield us the trophies that we want. These next
Yeah.
2 games shouldn't matter. They shouldn't even be part of the thought. This whole, you've got 3 games to save your job. Why? You know, you know when you're in a bad relationship and you know you've got to get out. That whole, do you know what? We'll go away for a weekend and we'll give it another try. No, the fact that you've got to keep trying tells you to get out. And for me, we need out of this relationship now. It's not going anywhere. And the worst bit is, it's one of those horrible ones because it isn't toxic. It isn't toxic and horrible and nasty. It's just like, I look at you like a brother, not a lover.
Like a
That's what it is.
roommate.
Yeah, it's like,
A
I don't,
roommate
you know
now.
what I mean? Yeah, roommate, brother. It's in that kind of space. It's mad.
Yeah, I think with like as a fan, your job is not to decide how many games he should have and all that kind of stuff. Your job is really just to sit there and hope that Man United win every single game possible, you know? And I think when fans get frustrated, then you start to calculate points and decide when the end point should be and all of that. Like that's for the club to decide. The club is there to decide whether or not Ollie's doing a good job. I think fans get caught up in the whole like, okay, well, if he loses these games, he'll go. You should never want your team to lose. I think it's weird. It's a weird one for me. And like a lot of Arsenal fans do that where they're like, I hope he loses all these games so he gets sacked. You always support the manager. You always support the club. You always support the team. You should want them to win because regardless, even if, like you said, if he wins these 2 games, he's not good enough. So it's really not about the wins and losses at this point. It's about Man United making the right decision and sacking a man who's just not good enough for the job, regardless of what he does in the next couple of games. You know, it just is what it is, you know, but
Yeah.
fans that sit there and think, oh, we should lose this game. I'm kind of happy that it looks like that. Every fan should want your team to win every single game. Like, I just feel like that's
Yeah.
fundamentally what a fan should be doing.
You're spot on. The problem that the fans have, though, and I understand it, is our board don't do the right thing for the football pitch. They do the right thing for money, and they time things for money. So it leads to, for me, a crazy thought process, and that's why some fans are in this space of, because those fans that want us to lose, so he gets sacked. I do believe in their heart of hearts is because they see it as a way for Man United Football Club to improve. And that's what they want as the end result. So I understand why they think it. But again, if we had good owners, and I'm seeing a lot more people on socials now talk about structure of the club, how we're run. And there's a part of me that likes seeing it. And there's another part of me that's like, there's my flow. There's mine and Neeks' 5-year flow just being taken by everybody now. And it's because what they're realizing is, shit, Ollie's going to go soon. And I've said all along that Ollie was the main problem. And I know he's not. I know it is the Glazers. How do I get out of this now? What I'm going to have to do is start talking about the Glazers now, ahead of time. We see it. We know what you're doing, peeps. It's an obvious thing.
Gosh.
It's true. It's legit true. It is legit 110%
Oh my
true.
goodness.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. It is. It is. It is. And you'll see it, and then it'll be rinse and repeat. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, make sure you've smashed that like button for us today. One of the main talking points we started off with, if you've just tuned in now, you can watch the playback later. We're talking about the clash between Mark GoldbrIdge and Gary Neville yesterday across social media. You know, I myself and Jess have backed Mark GoldbrIdge in what he has said and what he's called Gary Neville out for. Absolutely spot on with the biased punditry that's come out of Gary Neville's mouth, the lack of criticism of Ollie. We know that they're friends and it's hard for him to do it. But yeah, we spoke about that earlier. Had a bit of a preview. In other Manchester United news, though, today, another report about Antonio Conte. This was sort of stemmed in the conversation surrounding Newcastle's new manager. And what's been reported by Transfer Deadline and a few other publications is that Antonio Conte has almost said he's not interested in talking to Newcastle or any other team. He wants to keep his options open because he believes the Man United job is going to become available. It's the third report in a week, Jess, of Antonio Conte to Manchester United. Are you starting to feel at all like potentially there is something in this now? Or do you still feel like this is a little bit of just media noise to keep the story alive and buzzing?
I don't know. I still feel like it's clickbaity at the moment. I'm not saying that I don't think that Man United have maybe spoken to him, but there's so much that needs to happen before he becomes the manager. And I still don't see that I don't feel like they're ready to separate from Ole Gunnar, but that's just me. I'm looking at it from my perspective. And so right now, like, it's still a little bit like, okay, 50-50. But that is the manager you guys should be looking at. Like, I know that you have apprehensions around, how he may want to dismantle the club, how when he leaves, he'll leave it, in a place where it's not really a healthy situation. But at the end of the day, I think what will really help Man United is to get a quick win. Y'all need a quick win, a quick trophy, something. You need to feel good about what you're doing. You need to get Ronaldo, make sure Champions League Varane, all these guys are on board. You need a system that you can get behind. Rashford may be playing wing back. You don't know. But ultimately, I think this is the manager for what you guys are doing right now. And we'll see after these next 2 games, if you lose both, actually going into that next international break, I think that's when you guys will really know. It's about 3 games or so until that next international break. I think that's when, if it's going
Yeah,
to happen, it'll happen then in that big break, and you'll know then. But that's the
yeah.
manager you need to be talking to.
I, I, I look at this again. He's not my preference,
Who is
but
your preference?
honest,
Zidane?
Zidane is probably top of my list. I also like Ten Hag. I prefer their style of football. I like how their football looks. So yeah, I would prefer a more attacking and a more attractive style of play, but that's a preference thing. If we went for Antonio Conte, he would get the same level of initial support I've given every other new manager that's come in.
Yeah.
The one thing I like about Antonio Conte, though, there's a lot of talk about toxicity with him. I like the idea of that at Man United, though, with him. Do you know why?
Why?
Why? Why indeed? As Professor Snape said to Professor Dumbledore in the closing scenes and closing chapters of one of the most amazing anthologies of life and stories ever told in Harry Potter, is you've raised him to kill him at the appropriate time, when speaking about letting Harry Potter get to a particular age before Voldemort gets to kill him because he's actually a Horcrux. Sorry for the spoilers, right? If you haven't read the books yet. That's my take on this. Putting Antonio Conte in now and then him exposing these owners in real time. So if it's a success and it works, that's best case scenario. If it doesn't, he will expose these owners to hopefully literally to a point where my hope is that what we're able to do as a fan base is never, ever again focus on anything other than the structuring and the running of our club. The managers can be criticized game to game. Oh, this player isn't good enough. This player is trash. But the main focus always goes back to the Glazers. And I think someone like an Antonio Conte could be the man to do it, because he's the kind of man who I legitimately believe could come in December, and if he doesn't get given what he wants, could walk out in February and go, I ain't staying for this. And I sometimes feel like the fans actually need, because the Glazers get defended too much for me. They still get defended too much. Are they really that bad? They do spend this. Are they actually as bad as people make out? Yes, they are. The reason that we are where we are is them. And yeah, with Antonio Conte, I think we could win with him. Is it the style of football I want? No. Best case scenario is that we win with him. We get all the things our heart desires, and it really works. And actually, Terry's fear of the last 5 years that our structure is bad was wrong. I want to be wrong. I don't think I am, but I want to be. The second best scenario is he absolutely smashes things open with a sledgehammer and exposes to the world the problem at these clubs. So it's left undeniable. There's no more manager talk. There's no more Joe Blogs out, John Smith out. It's all Glazer, Glazer, Glazer. And if they don't make the changes that we want and do the things we want, then I implore every Man United fan to never pump a single penny back into that football club. Crash it, make it burn, make it hit rock bottom. They will then sell, and then we start again. That's what I hope Antonio Conte does.
I just want to go back a little bit because you used Harry Potter as a example for Antonio Conte, and so you have lost your privilege to call anybody else a nerd. You do that quite often when people talk about anime and stuff like that. That was equally just as nerdy.
No,
So there you go.
Harry Potter is a biography of life. It's a story about love and friendship and
It was
togetherness.
nerdy.
It's nerdy. I know.
It was nerdy as hell.
It's one of my
But
guilty pleasures. That's one of my guilty. Have I ever told you my guilty pleasures?
no.
So Harry Potter is one of my guilty pleasures.
Okay.
I love it. That's it. Harry Potter's one. Also, there is EastEnders. I'm a big EastEnders fan. Like, I've never missed an episode of EastEnders since I've been alive.
What is it? A soap?
It's a British soap based in the East End of London.
Okay.
My favorite singer is a guy called Lamar. Again, British
Who
based.
nobody else likes but you, right? He's
Pretty
not very
much.
popular, is he?
He's in my house. All my kids know his music. All my kids know every song he's ever made. So yeah, they're like my guilty pleasures, things that I like that are not they're very geeky or they're like embarrassing, but I love them. But I'm at an age now where I can talk about it openly and I'm not too bothered. But
Okay.
yeah,
All
that's where we're at.
right.
That's true. They're my guilty pleasures. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're smashing that like and that share button there, people. I've got a few comments to go through here. Viper says, Terry, do you know that the Glazers are Jewish? I did. That's inconsequential, though. Their religion is has nothing to do with how they run a football club. But there we go. Thank you. But we are being asked to support someone who is backed by owners who lack ambition and don't consider fans' contribution. We are being asked in support. Yeah, no, I don't. No, you're not being asked to support the manager as such. You should be targeting that on the owners. That's my view. I get where you're coming from, but again, you're shooting too low. It's a bit like walking into your local Greg's and shouting at the staff in there for the prices of the food. They don't set it, management do. It's you go.
Yeah.
I said it the other day, right? And I think this example works. If you guys have got a complaint about KJ and you want KJ removed, if you complain to KJ, is KJ going to ask me to sack him? No. You need to come to me with the complaint so I
Or
can speak.
me.
Or yeah, I forgot you run the terrace now. Like, so we moan about Ollie. You need to put the pressure on the Glazers. If they feel the pressure, they might do something. Jesse says, "Welcome to the TFT Literature Club." I actually read the word literature perfectly. I can't believe
Literature.
that. Look at
Yeah.
me.
It's literature.
What's wrong with being nerdy? Nothing's wrong with being
But
nerdy.
he calls people out all the time on their little things that they like. But he's
You,
over here using Harry Potter
you've
as
got
his little, his
no.
little thing,
You've got to learn. No, I'm sorry, Jess. You've got to learn like British humor. I'm not really. I'm
I
not.
know British humor.
No, you
You
don't.
don't understand American humor. You don't
No,
get it.
of course we understand American humor. You just don't get the jokes here. When we
I do
banter,
get jokes.
you don't. The amount of times someone will take the mick out of her on a stream, or all backstage afterwards, and she's like, "Why were you all being mean to me?" It's like, no, everyone's like, "It was a joke. Chill." Do you know what I mean? Straight over
That's
the head.
not true.
Every
Okay.
amount of times I get a call from HR, Jess ain't happy again. She's really unhappy with someone laughed at something she said, or
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm only joking. It's all a joke. It's all a joke. It's all a joke. A lot of people in the comments sack KJ immediately. KJ out.
I
I'll
like
let
that.
Maria Williams there, KJ in relation to that. But yeah,
Aw.
what your thoughts and feelings on Conte to Manchester United? The next thing I want to speak about, actually, no, you pick. What are we going to talk about next? What's on the agenda next?
I want to talk about um I don't know, because whenever we talk, we usually talk about Arsenal and Man United. We've done that to death. Both of our teams are underperforming. But let's kind of talk about two teams that are doing well, at the moment, number 1 and 2 in the league right now, Chelsea and Liverpool. That I watch Liverpool play, and like Liverpool fans, please understand, like when I said that you guys could potentially do bad this year, that was based on your injuries. I rate your team very highly. Most entertaining team to watch for me as a Premier League team, right? That was such an exciting game against Atletico. And then even if you go like the game against Brentford, such an entertaining game, even though it was a draw. Liverpool is one of the most exciting teams to watch. But what you're seeing is that they're not as good defensively, but they can score a lot of goals. Chelsea is kind of the opposite end of that. They're not that fun to watch. They don't score a lot of goals, but they don't give up as many goals. And, people have kind of said like, well, defense wins titles and all of that kind of stuff. What do you think is going to be a bigger hindrance, like for those two teams, besides injuries and stuff like that, for those two teams to get all the way to maybe like Champions League final or winning the Premier League title? Is it Chelsea's lack of goals or Liverpool's maybe leakier than in the past defense? Because if you're honest, if you look at Liverpool's defense, it's definitely not as sturdy as it was a couple years ago.
It's a really good debate and it's a really good question. I want the viewers' opinion on this as well. So get those comments coming in, people. Attack wins you games, defense wins you titles, Sir Alex Ferguson said. And I think most people kind of believe in that notion. The question for me is more, who is it easier for? Is it easier or more realistic for Liverpool's defense to tighten up or Chelsea to start scoring more goals? I think that is what the debate comes down to. And for me, it feels like the flip of a coin, because I look at the talent that Chelsea have got in Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Lukaku. That could switch on and start scoring and creating more goals. Equally, Liverpool's defense has been amazing at times. Has been even at the start of this season was very, very good. I get a feeling Liverpool will straighten the defense out. I think once Van Dijk has another 5 to 10 games under his belt, fully finds his feet back at the highest level, I think Liverpool will stop conceding as many goals. I think they'll get that right. And if Liverpool stop conceding with the rate they score at, they'll move themselves into that position to be favourites. Chelsea, on the other hand, I think, again, I don't know what they conceded 3 goals all season in the Prem. Legitimately, yeah. I could see Chelsea conceding under 10, 11 goals this year in the Premier League. If they did that, I wouldn't sit there and go, oh, can't believe it. They might not do it. It might be more like 15, 16. But if they only conceded 10, 11 goals this year, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, we're nearly a third of the way through the season, a quarter of the way through the season already. So, and they've played Man City, they've played Liverpool, they've played Arsenal, they've played difficult teams. So it isn't like they've played all bottom half sides. So it's, do you know what's so exciting about it? I can legit see Liverpool sorting their defense out. And I also see Chelsea scoring more goals. The only reason that I'm going to say the Liverpool one is more likely conceding less is because we've seen that defense be amazing before. We haven't yet under Jurgen Klopp seen Chelsea be a free-flowing scoring team. But what's amazing is Liverpool's one to fix is the most important one to fix, because conceding of goals will stop you winning league titles. You can still win a Champions League. You can still win an FA Cup. You can still win a League Cup because they're one-off games. But to win the Prem, they can't concede goals as they have done in their last couple of games. They can't afford to do that. But it's going to be an amazing race between those two. Of course, Man City are involved as well. We're not going to discount them, because Man City seem to have the best of both worlds. They're not too leaky. They're not the best attackers. They're kind of in between those two sides. When you look at all three, maybe that's why for some people City are the favourites, because their defence is good and their attack's good, and maybe they're more balanced. But between them, it's going to be a very tight race indeed. What's your take?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I just think Liverpool scored 22 goals. Chelsea's only scored 16. City's only scored 16. That's a huge gap in terms of the amount of goals, but also Liverpool have had to score more goals because they've been giving them up, but I also just think that their attack is really ticking the way it was like a couple of years ago, or just the year before the last one, essentially. So I personally feel like I can't see Chelsea's attack clicking together with the personnel that they have at the moment. Because I just don't think that they have any real natural goal scorers in the players that you've kind of spoken about. They're all kind of like creative midfielders, and Havertz and Ziyech and Pulisic and these guys. And so they need something a little bit different. But so I don't really see the attack becoming something that gets you 3 goals a game like Liverpool's. But I kind of sit on the fence of like that defensive solidity is going to get you by. And Chelsea's still my favorites to win the league. I'm looking at Liverpool and I'm just like, they're going to outscore a lot of teams, but it's going to be close. I think I'm going more with the defense is going to win you the titles over what Liverpool is doing right now, even though I don't see Chelsea really getting more goals. It's just, you can't score against them. You actually can't score goals. And I don't see anybody really being able to, but Liverpool are the most exciting team to watch. Like, they just are. Like, for the last couple of years, I just feel like things have gotten really sterile and a little stale, where teams are not fun to watch because they won't open up and they're afraid to lose. Like, you would watch games against Man City and Liverpool, or Man United and whoever else, so like bigger teams. And I just felt like both teams were trying not to lose. Liverpool doesn't give a shit. They're going after, they're opening up and playing, and I really like that. So I like watching them. I still think Chelsea have the better
Yeah,
stability, though. I think
that,
that's yeah.
it's such a hard. It legitimately is a hard one to call because there's an argument for both, and I think though what I will say is that that's what's going to make that's what's already making this Premier League title race so amazing is that you have this situation where both teams can win, both teams can lose, both teams could go on. I could see both teams going on, 10, 15 game winning streaks or unbeaten streaks, along with City as well. Like you throw them into that mix. They
Of
have
course.
something, about their team which is astounding, whether it's their defense, whether it's their balance with City, whether it's the attack with Liverpool right now. And it's the one that just excels that to the next level. And no one knows. Like everyone can predict. And some Liverpool fans will say, we'll do it. Some Chelsea will say, well, they'll do it. And they may or may not be right. Like someone's going to be wrong and someone's going to be right in this debate. But it's going to be it's going to be amazing to watch. There's no doubt. There's some super chats here. Brent says, shout out to the Delta.
He's talking about the.
I know that weird sorority thing you guys do in States. It's very weird. You read it, it's very dark, actually. Very cruel the way they treat.
Okay, keep going.
When you I feel, let's just say here, it says, I feel like Liverpool will run out of steam eventually. I feel like Chelsea will strengthen in the transfer market and this will be the difference. And that could be that January window could play a part in this. There's no doubt. It's
Especially
going to
if
be
Man City get a striker or something. I think them getting a striker can really just blow things
yeah.
open.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like I love it. Like the only thing I'm sad about, do you know what's crazy? I know, like I got a bit gassed on Sam now though.
Are you guys out of it already?
Yeah, I say gassed about it. Like I said everything I said back then. I was spot on about this whole Ollie could juju go to it. Like that was me just messing, really. But what I did say when I was being serious is, I told you there's no way we were full favourites because of the managers. And it was kind of, rivals didn't like hearing it because they wanted Man United fans to put pressure on their own club to win. But none of us really in our heart of hearts could be like, yeah, because of Ollie. If you give us any one of those other three managers with this squad, and I would have made us favourites, no doubt. But that's the pain. That's what I meant. I said at the top of the video. I watch this title race evolving. I watch brilliant Champions League games, and I'm like, wow, it's amazing. And then I get this sobering reality of where my team is. And look, my team's plight is a first world problem compared to yours. And your
I was
team's
just about to
problem,
say, imagine how I feel.
yeah, and it's vice versa. You could probably you could go and find, you could go right down the pecking order of football, and you speak to someone that was a Berry fan, and actually we're in amazing positions compared to them. There's a perspective that's always needed. But yeah, I'm enjoying stuff, but I'm also
Yeah.
not enjoying it all at the same time as well. It's kind of frustrating. Let's do some more of these super comments here. This is from Gunnar TV Banter, one of our members. It says, Terry and Jessica, I want Arteta gone. I'm fuming. Wake up. TikTok. Hashtag Arteta out. Terry and Jess, 12 months now here now. I agree with Jess. Chelsea are more stable, definitely. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I don't like our high line when teams drop back from us.
But y'all are fun to watch, man.
You
And
are
as an
fun.
Arsenal fan, watching our like suffer ball that we play, no goals, no attacking patterns, no life, no
Hang on.
love.
Greatest manager. You said he could be with. You
Did I
said
say no? Wait, hold
you
on.
said
Wait, no,
Arteta
hold
could be one of
on.
your greatest ever managers. You said that. I heard it come out of your mouth.
You heard that come out of Harry's mouth. I
Yeah,
never
and you
said
agreed with him.
that.
Silence is violence. I keep saying this. You agreed.
Silence is violence.
When an Arsenal fan comes on the terrace and says something wild, and you sit there and go, and this is young. Oh, hang on, you're like this.
Is it just It's just Arsenal fans that this happens for? But
No, I'm using Arsenal as an example. When you sit there as the
okay.
co-host of a show and you're like, and you're agreeing with it, I'm taking that as an endorsement. Right?
Okay,
Right?
sure,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, as a Liverpool fan, at least just enjoy at least liking watching your team play, because you don't want this suffer ball. Like, you really don't want it.
There's a comment here that says Jess, you remind me of the 21 alphabet. I don't know what that means. Do you know what it means?
No.
No, I thought it might have been a reference to something Yankee
The
Doodleified,
21
but I don't know what it means. Nothing. It's not. I don't get it. I don't. Andre, thank you for the super chat, my bro, but I don't know what that means. I really,
I
really
hope it's
don't.
not something rude, but yeah,
Make
it's
sure you're
fine.
smashing that like and share button, people. We're going to open up the lines now for some of you to call in and have your say on the terrace. Any questions you have for Jess or I, feel free to come on and speak your mind and all that jazz. Remember, Not Fan Park Live is live tonight after the Champions League game. We've got Ram and man like Lies in the studio here with me tonight. So it's going to be a good, fun show, no doubt about it. Well, I say a good, fun show, no doubt about it. You guys can all be the judges of that. And I've just had a really nice DM from a certain somebody as well. Thank you very much, sir. For the kind words, I appreciate it. It wasn't Gary Neville, is all I'm going to say. That gives you an idea as to who it may have been from. I'm glad you've noticed, Terry. I don't know what you mean, brother. I don't know what it's in reference to, my G.
What am I missing?
Terrence Tibbs here says Sigma Delta Gamma, sister, we're doing for ourselves. What does that mean?
He's talking about sororities and fraternities.
What
Something
did
you
you
would know anything about, you know.
I've been to a fraternity party. It was wild.
You've told this story before.
I've not gone into the granular detail of
Are
what.
you gonna do it now?
I don't think it's. I think we'll be demonetized. No, I mean, I was
We don't
cool.
want to know about when Terry
It
was younger
was
and what he
good
was doing.
times. Like being like 22, 23 on a campus with my accent. When I had hair, I was in good shape. I was a
You
fighter. I
keep
was in good
saying
shape.
this.
Oh my days. Honestly, it was just honestly, I felt like I was floating on air walking around. It
You
was just
guys
amazing.
don't let Terry set you up and make you think that because you have an English accent, if you come to America, people are just gonna start like throwing themselves at you.
Listen,
It's
gents,
not real. It was
at a bar,
all in
right?
his mind.
No,
It's all in his
you'll be at a
mind.
bar, right? And just do this. If there's a group of girls in the bar, right? All you do is order your drink politely but a little loudly, right? Because you'll always get this comment, "Oh my god, that's a great
Wait,
accent."
no,
And you're like,
no. Do an example. I'm the bartender. I'm the
"No,
bartender.
it's
You
just
order
about
the
the fact."
drink. Order the
But
drink.
I don't know. I say,
Sir,
"Excuse
what
me,
would you
can I?"
like?
Yeah. Oh, hi. How are you? You good?
I'm good. What would you like to
Yeah,
drink?
lovely. Could I have a couple of what we want is a bottle of vodka, like we want it on the table, some mixers to go with it, and like a couple of I don't know, pictures of like Budweiser or whatever. Just throwing something out there. Like, I'm talking to you ain't what it's about. So you're missing the point. The line ain't to you. You are like the stooge. So the people next to you hear you talking, and then it's like, where's your accent from? And then it's like, boom. Then you start chatting. It's easy. And it's not hard. You just say anything. I mean, anything. Just ordering your food. It's not, you don't need no, listen, gents, you don't need no cheesy pickup lines. You don't need any jokes. Like, trust me, gents, none of that actually works. Just go there and talk. Just talk. And ooh, ooh. Trust me. Honestly, as a kid, going to America and Canada, the level of times I did, the best. It was the best. It was the best. Honestly, it's just amazing. Legit. Like, you know what I mean? And again, it's not, again, gents, don't, here's some do's and don'ts with young ladies when you're out. No grabbing before you get permission. No woman likes that. So no weird stuff, no wolf whistling, whatever weird noises people make. Now, people do that. Like, you see young lads in the shopping malls, like in the shopping centers here, like, pss, pss, yo, cutie, come in. What are you trying to? Women don't like that. Don't shout at them in the street like you want to have a fight. Do you know what I mean? Don't call them cutie, cutest, cuteness, sweetness. You don't know them. You know what I mean? Babes. Girls hate that. Don't do it. Just be normal.
It is
No
terrible.
pickup lines. No pickup lines. Do not drop a pickup line in there. It's too cheesy. Like,
But you
none of that
guys
stuff.
now see the extent of Terry's game. It's very much so speak loudly, you know, speak loudly in my accent. Probably, you know, it only would work in America and Canada though. So
Yeah, that's why I had no luck in England. None. Didn't work here. I do the same thing. I'll be at the bar and I'll just be talking, and I was like, no one's looking. Why is no one? Yeah, I sound the same, right? Yeah, do you know what I mean? I was, and another rule, gents, never date a girl from the same friends group. In fact, never date a girl from the same postcode that anyone you know knows. Fish outside your pond. Go somewhere new, more fun. And remember this, young men, variety is the spice of life.
Don't
Variety
listen
is
to Terry,
the
guys.
spice
He's setting
of
you up.
life. Remember that, especially when you're young. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no pickup lines. It's all right, bruv. This why is man calling me Ted Bundy? What's he got to do with Ted Bundy? Like,
Oh
jeez.
no.
Like, I haven't done anything wrong.
No, you haven't.
Yes, Nick. Wagwan, baby love in a Jamaican accent. That'll get, yeah, but you know what, bruv? See, maybe a pick, but I think lines work if there's something different about you. So if you've got a Cockney accent and you're in Manchester and you come out of a cheesy line, it'll get a bit of a giggle. It used to when I went up there. If you've got a Scouse accent and you're in London, it works. If you've got like a London accent and you're in London, keep it simple because you don't stand out. You're not special. You're just normal. You know what I mean? You're just
Is a Scouse
normal.
accent what Jamie Carragher has? Is that
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
I can't understand a word that man says. And I listen hard. I listen so hard. And I'm just like, what is he saying? Do you guys have a hard time understanding his accent too, or is it just me?
No, just you. Just you.
Okay.
I speak fluent Scouse, or I can understand fluent Scouse.
Okay.
Yeah. You
I
just
don't
got to
know
get,
what he's saying.
just got to get between the ems and the other noises. They honestly, the Scouse accent is one of them. The Scouse accent, the Geordie accent, the Irish accent, Scottish. And there's one more probably and thick. Like KJ's got a Birmingham accent, but it isn't thick. Like the real thick ones.
That's the good one. The one that Jack Grealish has, right?
Yeah.
That one.
You like it?
That one. That one.
What about Southern accents like London, Essex?
I can't tell the difference in those ones, to be honest.
But are they good or bad in your opinion?
They're probably just fine. You know, medium level.
Jeez.
Let's get back to football now.
Anyway, let's go to some calls now on the terrace. Mohammed's on with us first to have his say. Mohammed's here. What do you want to say, bro?
Oh, hello, Terry. I just want to talk about Liverpool and Chelsea, like who's gonna most likely win the league. Yeah, at the moment I reckon Chelsea have the advantage because obviously they got a better squad and then the depth's better for Chelsea. So yeah, but and then again with Liverpool, if they keep their team fit, then they can push on. And if they shore up the defense at the back, Liverpool can go on like a long 10, 15 game winning streak. But equally with Chelsea, so yeah, it's hard to call. But in my opinion, Chelsea look like they're more of the favourites, especially at the rate they're not conceding goals.
Yeah, and I hear you on that, mate. It's going to be a real intriguing one indeed. Top man for calling in and having your say, Mohammed. Really appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much indeed, mate. Thank you. Next up, we've got Gunnar TV on the show with us. What you saying, bro?
Hello, Terry. Hello, Jessica.
Hi.
I'm fuming, mate. I'm fuming with the club and the fan base. Yeah. Wake up. Arteta is a numpty. I've been supporting Arsenal 30 years. I've seen George Graham's era, right? Bruce Rioch, the only good thing he did was bringing Dennis Bergkamp, and then Arsene Wenger, then Emery, now Arteta, right? We have no identity, no cohesion. Yeah, I don't know what Arsenal's turning up. He hasn't got a clue when to make a substitution. Yeah, he's got to be sacked. The club have to act. They have to act now. Yeah, we're a laughing stock. We're a laughing stock. We've gone from invincibles to laughing stock in in 15 years. And I've had enough, mate. I'm done. It's breaking my heart, mate.
So you don't believe he can become one of your greatest ever managers?
No, I don't.
I've never said that, Terry. Jeez.
Breaking my heart, Terry. Breaking my heart.
I know, mate. Listen, I hear you, and it's why. Listen, it's why I've already said I'm committed. along with a number of other Arsenal fans, to keep fighting the good fight until your club are run properly. None of this 2 games at a time. None of this trust the process cobblers. It's get it right now or move on. I agree with you, mate.
Same with Man United, man. We're in a similar position.
Right, we're practically brothers. We're practically brothers in
We
arms
are, because we used to be the 2 dons. We ran the league, and we were the top fixture every season, weren't we?
Mate,
and now look at us.
I know. We were Nokia back in the day, Nokia phones, and we've been overtaken. Listen, really appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro.
See you later.
Top man. Thank you very much indeed. Comment here says, Jess said Arteta can be the next Wenger. Is what
Did I say that? I never said that. But okay, I get what you guys are saying.
What you do view is get your comments in, right? Get your comments in of bad takes that Jess has said. Things Jess has said that you want to put up on the screen. They can be as creative as you want. Get those comments in.
Everybody remembers everything I've said. Like things I said like 4 or 5 months ago come back to haunt me. And I'm just like, wow, you guys remember everything. Great.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I want to know what people have got to say here. The mags are coming for you, man. Like Judy, tune for life. Big up yourself. Twisted said mirror settings. He said me and Gunnar TV look the same. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. What else is coming in here? Right. Jess said, I believe Arteta is the greatest. He reminds me of Muhammad Ali. is what's been said there. That's a pretty good one. Maria Williams here says, leave Jess alone, is what's been said.
Thanks, Maria. Thank you.
Jess said she's in love with me, is what Chris George says. There we go. Jess said Partey will have a bigger legacy than Conte, is what Derek believes. Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. That's quite creative. Keep them clean, people. Keep them clean. Keep them clean. Jess, Arsenal were a good team. Jeff said Emil Smith-Rowe is the next Dennis Bergkamp. I like that. I like that.
I'll stand behind that one. I love my little Emil Smith-Rowe. He's going to be amazing. He's going to be amazing.
The next Dennis Bergkamp, you serious?
Yeah, we'll keep that one. We'll keep that one. That'll be my one diluted one.
I cannot believe it. Oh my word. Oh my God. Guys, get more of these comments. What's being said? I don't care what Jess said. She's absolutely beautiful is what's said there.
Thank you. Thank you.
David said, Jess said, Arteta invented tiki-taka. That's a good one. I like that one. This is actually
I like that one.
He should come from a can.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you Yanks are mad, you know.
It's not fair. I can't say what I think because everybody will come for me. So you guys can just say Yanks do this and Yanks do that.
So you think now who's gonna come for you?
You guys, what are jellied eels?
Oh, they're beautiful they are. Oh, lovely bit of jellied eel. Well, a bit of jelly deal, a bit of fine mash, bit of liquor, a few cola cubes, proper Cockney food. That's where I'm from. What
is a jelly deal?
It's a fish in jelly.
Okay.
It's absolutely rank. To be honest with you, I tried it. Like it's where I'm from in the East End of London. It's a proper delicacy, and I swear to you. I tried it, and it's one of those things, right? When I was younger, and you'd be in the pubs and that, you'd have the fish stalls outside, and people would go out and they get some cockles and they get this. Oh, got some jelly deals, and everyone would pretend they liked it because you wanted to look Cockney. It was like, oh man, I got to do it. Like there must be things like that within sort of your area where you grew up, where it's like I've got to do it because it's tradition, and if they don't do it, I get teased. But it ain't that great, or doesn't whatever. I don't know.
You guys in the chat box, is there anything that Americans eat that you think looks disgusting or you wouldn't try? Let me know in the chat. I want to know.
Sloppy Joe's. It's like a runny burger. It's like a burger that's just falling up. It's not. It's like literally. I see one once. I'm like, what's that? It's a sloppy Joe. But the bun's all fucking wet. What was the point of it? Yeah, that's not good.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
What foods? Mac and cheese don't look horrible.
You guys,
mac and cheese is amazing. I have that with most dinners when I go out. And someone just said poutine. Poutine is Canadian, by the way, not
I've
American.
never had that before.
Poutine's
Is it gravy
basically-
with fries or something like
Yes,
that?
it's
That's the
chicken.
gal's food.
It's chicken with gravy with cheese melted on top. They call it poutine. They even sell it in the McDonald's up there. Like, sorry, I got itchy ear roll, but that's good food.
What is itchy ear hole?
Patty Jack. What is Patty Jack?
What is? I've never heard of that before.
I'm
Patty
gonna
Jack.
Google
A patty
Jack.
melt?
I don't know. You're asking me. I'm from East London. I ain't got Patty Jack. What is a Patty Jack?
That's so interesting.
Oh, that does look terrible. It's like a weird flat burger, weird thing.
Wait, let me see.
And put Patty Jack in. It's not good. That ain't good. That is not good food.
You guys, I'm also like a typical Californian person. I don't eat meat, so.
Or hurt people's feelings.
Oh, sour. It's a patty melt.
Yeah, a few people are saying biscuits. Now, listen, their biscuits are what we call scones. We are not attacking scones.
Biscuits are so good.
They're called scones. Please don't. I told you before, don't jerk our rice, please. We invented them. They're called scones. Stop changing the names of things. Jess said, if Ferguson and Wenger had a child, that would be. That's quite a good one. I like that. That's pretty good.
People are saying, "Oh, you're a vegan, Major L." I love that.
Yeah,
a jelly sandwich. Yeah.
She's not a vegan. She's a pescatarian, right?
Yeah.
There we go. I remember you saying backstage, you and Neeks were chatting about it with your weird dietary habits. Grits. Yeah, grits is vile looking.
Grits are amazing, you guys. Come on. Come on.
It basically looks like hot, runny rice pudding. It's not. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I saw one. I was in the States once, and I someone said try grits. I honestly thought the chef had phlegmed and spat on my plate. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Please.
Like grits. I was like, first time I heard of grits was watching a great American film called, you must have seen this, My Cousin Vinny. You ever seen My Cousin Vinny? Oh, it's a great film. With the Karate Kid. Big up Ralph. Big up Ralph. It's possible Smith Rowe could be like Bergkamp because he came to Arsenal at 26 years old. Rowe is still young. He's not at Bergkamp's level. He's not at Bergkamp's level. He's not at Bergkamp's level.
20. Like he's 20. You don't know what his level is. You've decided because he's an Arsenal player, no way he can reach the level. No way.
Bergkamp is an Arsenal player.
Yeah, but he came out like 26. Like he was older.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit Alex Jones now. I'm sorry, I'm gonna calm down. I love Alex. Do you know what? I don't like Alex Jones's opinions, but I do like watching him get angry on camera. There's something funny about it. But no, listen, Dennis Bergkamp. They're both Arsenal, but he is not at Bergkamp's level now. At 20 years old,
no, nobody said now. Nobody said now.
So there's
he can get to that. So he can't get to that level.
No, Bergkamp at 20 was levels above Smith Rowe at 20. And he was doing it. And by the way, the Dutch league back then was good. It wasn't like it is now. Yeah, I did read that Patson Daka scored 4 goals in the Europa League this afternoon.
He's really a good player. Yeah.
Got another one here. Jess said Mustafi is better than Van Dijk. Yeah. By the way, we're clipping all these up, and these are going to turn into truth. By the way, you're going to get people go to you. I heard you said this. I heard.
I want those on T-shirts. I think those would be fun.
Get it done, Hillary. I'm sure you can get your dad's credit card to pay for it, so you'll be all good.
That, first of all, rude. So rude. I'm not Hillary. You guys don't start. See how I'm treated here? I'm not treated right. What? Yeah. Do you see what Terry's doing right now, you guys see? If I did anything similar to that about him, he'd be upset.
I wouldn't be upset. I would just be like normal.
I'm gonna perfect an impression of you. Credit card. That's rude. She said soccer, not football. I've never said soccer on here. Never. Stream died. No, it's buffering.
Yeah, so something kind of cut out a little bit there. Am I back with you or not? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay, cool. I'm back, which is good. Yeah, I'm going to ask a question about what happened there. I'm actually connected to Atalanta. It keeps going off and on. So I'm not too sure how that's happened, but it seems to I can't make it stop. Can you hear us? very weird. But,
It's funny because as soon as he started talking smack, his internet went out. Somebody's looking out for me. This is my show now. So let's see what else you guys are saying. See if he'll come back or not. It is just buffering. I don't know what's going on with his internet. Oli crashed the stream. Let's see. Halloween Terrace. Terry is a robot confirmed. Yeah, upgrade your internet. Maybe you need daddy's credit card to upgrade that internet. Let's see. Yeah, somebody said I'm more Ashley than Hillary. I would say probably so. Let's see.
whole stream. Are we back?
You're kind of back. I was just
Right.
getting...
I'm gonna end the stream anyway. Like, can you hear me? I need to yes or no. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, cool. I'm not too sure what happened there. The internet, just literally every internet in this room just dropped. Listen, everyone that has tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.